Hi, welcome to Draw Tip Tuesday. My name is Koosje Koenen and on this channel I accompany you on your creative journey. Let's make that drawing practice of yours solid and fun and joyful, because life is better when you draw it. That happens to be the title of my book, in case you didn't know. Anyway, your drawing practice. You can go on an adventure, you can go out to draw, you can go draw with friends or by yourself, you can go to a coffee shop and draw the interior while you are enjoying your drink. But what I notice in winter is that I'm inside a lot and I don't feel that adventurous. We stay warm inside, and even though everything is interesting as soon as you start drawing it, you might feel a little bit meh. And I get that. It's common, it's normal, it's fine. Every artist has this every now and then. And I think it's a great reason to pull yourself together and give yourself a different kind of challenge. Last week I showed you how you can start a project, big or small, just a personal thing that brings you joy. But I can also imagine that it's a bit of a commitment that you don't really feel like doing. So I have some different suggestions. What I do to get out of a rut or to get out of that meh feeling, I rummage through my art supplies. I mean, I know you have a lot of them, right? Just like me. And you will find stuff that you don't use that often. And there's the challenge. I very often grab my fountain pen and my watercolors to start drawing. It's just my go-to, and I'm pretty sure that you have favorite tools as well. What if you start with a completely different set of tools? That will give you a challenge right away in the comfort of your home, maybe even drawing a subject that you've drawn many times before, or a view, or your feet, or whatever you choose to draw. It will be a completely different experience, and also the result might be surprising. Color often brings depth and life to your drawing, but today I'm not using color. I am finding different ways to add depth to my drawing. Today I am combining black and gray. I am using a Staedtler pigment liner which has a chisel tip, and I use a pencil. This is a Palomino Blackwing pencil. And the sketchbook is a Handbook Journal. I found a reference photo on unsplash.com that I like. It's just a simple set of a kettle and a cup. Somehow the photo inspired me. I like the colors, even though today I am not using color. I start with the cup in the foreground. My line is a bit wobbly, but as you know, I don't care about that. Let's embrace the wonkiness, shall we? I add a little bit of texture and some shadow, and I'm just really playing. It feels safe to just draw a cup, right? It's familiar and I can do this. And with that cup in the foreground, I can then move on to the kettle in the background, or the middle ground. I'm not rushing this, I'm just really looking at the shape of the kettle, and I use my cup as well for some landmarks that I can use for placing my lines. Also, I look at negative shapes so that I see what the distance is between the different parts of the kettle. I also add shadow that I see on the kettle as well as the drop shadow. To see the shadow, you can actually squint your eyes a little bit, and then you see the contrast better. And you can exaggerate a little bit more to give your subject weight and context. Exaggerating is always a good idea when drawing. I'm adding some texture because of the design of the kettle and because it brings a little bit of life or playfulness to it, I think. Okay, so that's my foreground. Now I'm looking at the background, and with my pencil, I start drawing the background. I'm not using pencil because I can erase the lines, but I'm using it because it's such a fantastic tool to draw with. And the gray color is good because that black line is really dark and bold, and gray will naturally tone down what is in the background. Things feel a little bit further away, like atmospheric perspective. it's softer, so it's great to use graphite pencil for your background against the bold black. To put a little bit more than just some shapes in the background, I'm also adding some texture, and I'm basically coloring the background with the pencil. If I would do this with my go-to tools, I would probably give the background a bright watercolor wash, but no color today, and I really like the texture that the pencil gives. The strokes of the pencil that go in different directions give a lot of life to it and some playfulness. You can layer your pencil, you can push harder or softer to bring a variation of grays from darker to lighter. Looking at the background, I'm deciding what I want to include and how accurate I want to follow the reference photo. I decide that it'll be fun to make this sort of a vignette by giving that background a little bit of a roundish shape. And as I'm doing this, I'm figuring out how to make a smoothish transition without overthinking it. Then I add a little bit of something on that rectangle and the drawing is done. These tools are also great when you're on location and you don't want to bring a lot of materials with you, or when you don't have a lot of time. A sketchbook, an ink pen, a pencil, you can draw the world with those. So I really hope that this inspires you and that you are going to try out using just simple tools to bring depth into your drawing. And if you need an assignment this week, it's a simple one. Grab a pen, not like a super thin fine liner, but a little bit of a chunky one, and grab a pencil. Those are your tools for today. Find a reference photo or something in front of you and choose what your foreground is and your background. For the foreground, you use your pen, and for the background, you use your pencil. It's simple as that. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's simple. I hope you'll have fun doing this and maybe you'll find out a thing or two. Next week I will be back with another Draw Tip Tuesday, and I can do that because of my patrons. They pay a small amount every month so that I can publish these videos for free every week on YouTube. So if you're interested to support me on Patreon or to get more ideas and inspiration, then check out my Patreon page. I will put the link below in this video. And of course, we can also draw together in person. I teach a lot of workshops in different places in Europe this year. So check out the link to all of that below this video as well. And if that's not really your thing, then you can always join me online because I do monthly mini workshops that are really, really fun. And other than that, just subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on my next video. See you next week. Bye!